Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Anuja Kumar with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says the India-US friendship would be an integral part of India's development journey for the next 25 years. India and US reaffirm their commitment to promote regional stability and rule of law at 4th 2+2 Ministerial Dialogue. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates Hostel and Education Complex of Sri Annapurna Dham Trust at Adalaj in Gujarat. Union Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia directs officials to boost ongoing monitoring and surveillance of new COVID-19 variants and cases. In Uttar Pradesh, BJP is heading for a massive win in the State Legislative Council elections. Pulwama and Pathankot attack masterminds notified as terrorists under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Delhi and most parts of northern India reeling under heatwave conditions. In FIH Women's Junior World Cup Hockey, India to meet England today for the 3rd and 4th position in Potchefstroom, South Africa at 5 p.m. And in IPL cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore to take on defending champions Chennai Super Kings at the D.Y. Patil Sports Academy in Navi Mumbai this evening. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said the India-US friendship would be an integral part of India's development journey for the next 25 years. The Prime Minister said this during a virtual interaction with US President Joe Biden last evening.
आपने अपने कार्यकाल के शुरू में ही एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण स्लोगन दिया था, डेमोक्रेसी कैन डिलीवर। भारत और अमेरिका की पार्टनरशिप की सफलता इस स्लोगन को सार्थक करने का सबसे उत्तम जरिया है। इस साल भारत अपनी स्वतंत्रता की 75वां वर्षगांठ मना रहा है और हम अपने डिप्लोमेटिक रिलेशंस की 75वीं सालगिरह भी मना रहे हैं। मुझे विश्वास है कि भारत की अगले 25 सालों की विकास यात्रा में अमेरिका के साथ हमारी मित्रता एक अभिन्न अंग रहेगी।
Mr. Modi said India and the US are natural partners as they are two of the biggest democracies of the world.
विश्व के दो सबसे बड़े और पुराने लोकतंत्रों के रूप में हम नेचुरल पार्टनर्स हैं और पिछले कुछ वर्षों में हमारे संबंधों में जो प्रगति हुई है, जो नया मोमेंटम बना है, आज से एक दशक पहले भी शायद ऐसी कल्पना करना मुश्किल था।
Prime Minister Modi said the talks were being held at a time when the situation in Ukraine remains worrisome. The Prime Minister said India placed importance on the safety of the civilian population in Ukraine and the uninterrupted supply of humanitarian aid to them, including medicines and relief materials.
कुछ सप्ताह पहले तक 20,000 से अधिक भारतीय यूक्रेन में फंसे हुए थे और इनमें से अधिकांश युवा छात्र थे। काफी मेहनत के बाद हम उन्हें वहां से सकुशल निकालने में सफल हुए। हालांकि एक छात्र ने अपना जीवन खो दिया। इस पूरे घटनाक्रम के दौरान मैंने यूक्रेन और रूस दोनों के राष्ट्रपतियों से कई बार फोन पर बातचीत की। मैंने न सिर्फ शांति की अपील की, बल्कि मैंने राष्ट्रपति पुतिन को यूक्रेन के राष्ट्रपति के साथ सीधी बातचीत का सुझाव भी रखा। हमारी संसद में भी यूक्रेन के विषय पर बहुत विस्तार से चर्चा हुई।
Mr. Modi stated that the recent killings of innocent civilians in Bucha city of Ukraine was very worrying.
हाल में बूचा शहर में निर्दोष नागरिकों की हत्याओं की खबर बहुत ही चिंताजनक थी। हमने इसकी तुरंत निंदा की और एक निष्पक्ष जांच की मांग भी की है। हम आशा करते हैं कि रूस और यूक्रेन के बीच चल रही बातचीत से शांति का मार्ग निकलेगा।
In his opening remarks, US President Joe Biden said India and the US are two vibrant democracies which share a strong and growing major defense partnership. He said continued consultation and dialogue are the key to ensure that the India-US partnership continues to grow stronger.
We share a strong and growing major defense partnership. At the root of our partnership is a deep connection between our people, ties of family, of friendship, and of shared value. On that note, I want to welcome India's humanitarian support for the people of Ukraine who are suffering a horrific assault, including a tragic shelling on a train station last week that killed dozens of innocent children and women and civilians attempting to flee the violence. The United States and India are going to continue our close consultation on how to manage the destabilizing effects of this Russian war. And I'm looking forward to our discussions today, Mr. Prime Minister. Our continued consultation and dialogue are key to ensuring the U.S.-India relationship continues to grow deeper and stronger.
India and the U.S. reaffirmed commitment to promote regional stability and rule of law at the fourth 2+2 ministerial dialogue held in Washington last night. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar led the Indian delegation. The U.S. delegation was led by Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. The dialogue enabled both sides to undertake a comprehensive review of cross-cutting issues in the India-U.S. bilateral agenda related to foreign policy, defense and security. Addressing media after the talks, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh said they had a meaningful discussion which will help in maintaining and expanding India-U.S. momentum. He said both nations have shared goals to achieve, and it is great that the world's two biggest democracies share the same views on almost all world issues. During the meeting, they also discussed assessments of the Indian Ocean region and its neighbors. The defense minister said they discussed about terrorism being used as an instrument of statecraft against India. He said India's Department of Space and the U.S.'s Department of Defense have concluded a Space Situational Awareness Agreement. An agreement on defense, space and defense artificial intelligence dialogues has also been reached. He added that many other initiatives and agreements which are in the discussion phase have been agreed to be expanded for progress in the scope and depth of India-U.S. military engagements. Mr. Singh said both nations also talked about further cooperation in the defense, cyber and special forces field, including LMOA Logistics Exchange Memorandum of Agreement. He urged American companies to come and invest in India and support the Make in India program.
भारत और अमेरिका के बीच एक स्ट्रेटेजिक रिलेशनशिप है क्योंकि दोनों एक दूसरे के स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनर हैं और मैंने यह आग्रह किया है अमेरिका से कि अमेरिका आकर भारत में यहाँ पर फोकस करें विशेष रूप से को डेवलपमेंट और को प्रोडक्शन पर। यहाँ की जो ओईएम्स हैं वो भारत में आए, उनका स्वागत है क्योंकि भारत में ये एक निर्णय है मेक इन इंडिया और मेक फॉर द वर्ल्ड। भारत को यदि हम सेल्फ रिलायंट बनाना चाहते हैं तो।
In his address to the media, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said the meeting took place at a time when the global audience is facing multiple challenges and stresses. The External Affairs Minister stated that India buys some energy from Russia necessary for its energy security. He, however, added that India's purchases for the month would be less than what Europe makes in an afternoon.
If you are looking at energy purchases from Russia, I would suggest that your attention should be focused on Europe. We do buy some energy which is necessary for our energy security, but I suspect looking at the figures, probably our total purchases for the month would be less than what Europe does in an afternoon. So you might want to think about it.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said India has to make its own decisions about how it approaches the Ukraine challenge.
India is providing significant humanitarian assistance to the people of Ukraine. India has to make its own decisions about how it approaches this challenge. In our judgment, it is important that all countries, especially those with leverage, press Putin to end the war. And it's also important that democracies stand together and speak with one voice to defend the values that we share. India's relationship with Russia has developed over decades. Today, we are able and willing to be a partner of choice with India.
U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin said President Joe Biden truly values strong alliances and partnerships like the one with India.
Regarding missed opportunities, of course, I can't say much about policy decisions that were made before my time. But what I can tell you is that President Biden truly values strong alliances and partnerships like the one that we have with India. And that's really what today is all about. It's about taking a strong relationship and making it even stronger.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today virtually inaugurated the educational complex and boys' hostel at Sri Annapurna Dham in Adalaj near Ahmedabad in Gujarat. The Prime Minister also performed a virtual groundbreaking ceremony for Hiramani Arogya Dham of Jan Sahayak Trust, which will be built at a cost of 50 crore rupees. Speaking on this occasion, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that Gujarat has a long tradition of donors for various social activities, and the Patidar community is also in the forefront in this tradition.
आज श्री अन्नपूर्णा धाम ट्रस्ट, अडालज कुमार हॉस्टल और एजुकेशन कॉम्प्लेक्स के उद्घाटन के साथ साथ जन सहायक ट्रस्ट हीरामणि आरोग्य धाम का भूमि पूजन भी हुआ है। शिक्षा, पोषण और आरोग्य के क्षेत्र में समाज के लिए गुजरात का स्वभाव रहा है। जिसकी जितनी ताकत, हर समाज कुछ न कुछ सामाजिक दायित्व निभाता है और उसमें पाटीदार समाज भी कभी भी पीछे नहीं रहता है।
Mr. Modi said that it was the blessings of Mata Annapurna that we successfully brought back the idol of Mata Annapurna from Canada a few months back, which was stolen in the past from Kashi.
समृद्धि और धन धान्य की देवी मां अन्नपूर्णा के प्रति हमारी अगाध आस्था रही है। पाटीदार समाज तो धरती माता से सीधा जुड़ा रहा है। मां के प्रति इस अगाध श्रद्धा के चलते ही कुछ महीने पहले मां अन्नपूर्णा की मूर्ति को हम कनाडा से वापस काशी ले आए। माता की इस मूर्ति को दशकों पहले काशी से चुराकर विदेशों में पहुंचा दिया गया था।
The hostel and education complex will have 150 rooms with lodging and boarding facilities for 600 students along with other facilities. The Prime Minister said Hiramani Arogya Dham will have the latest medical facilities, including a facility for dialysis.
यह जो आरोग्य धाम यहाँ बनने जा रहा है, इससे गुजरात के सामान्य मानवी को बहुत अधिक लाभ होगा। विशेष रूप से एक साथ अनेकों लोगों के डायलिसिस और 24 घंटे ब्लड सप्लाई की सुविधा से अनेक मरीजों की बहुत बड़ी सेवा होगी। केंद्र सरकार ने जिला अस्पतालों में मुफ्त डायलिसिस की जो सुविधा शुरू की है, उस अभियान को आपके ये प्रयास और बल देने वाले हैं।
The government has designated the Pulwama and Pathankot attack masterminds as terrorists. In a notification, Union Home Ministry has designated Jaish-e-Mohammed Mohieddin Aurangzeb Alamgir as a terrorist under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Alamgir is a key conspirator of the terror attack on CRPF convoy at Pulwama in 2019. In a separate notification, the ministry has also designated Ali Kashif Jan, alias Jan Ali Kashif, the operational commander of Jaish-e-Mohammed, who was the handler of Pathankot Air Force Station terror attack, as a terrorist.
Union Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia has directed the officials to boost ongoing monitoring and surveillance of new COVID-19 variants and cases. Mr. Mandavia chaired a meeting in New Delhi today with the key experts and officials of the country on the new XE variant of COVID-19. On the medical infrastructure and resources front, the minister directed officials to constantly review the availability of essential drugs and medicines required for COVID treatment. More than 185 crore 90 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said more than 15,65,000 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. During the same period, 796 new cases were reported in the country. India's active caseload currently stands at 10,889 and it is at 0.03%. The recovery rate is currently at 98.76%.
Union Minister for Women and Child Development Smriti Irani today said that the Union government is committed to protect the self-respect of women. Delivering her address in Mumbai at the 4th Zonal Workshop organized on 4 points, namely Mission Poshan, Mission Shakti, Mission Vatsalya and Saksham Anganwadi, she said that it is for the first time that the Prime Minister of the country has talked about the menstruation health of women from the ramparts of the Red Fort, which shows that the matters related to women are a priority for the present government. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says the India-US friendship would be an integral part of India's development journey for the next 25 years. India and US reaffirmed their commitment to promote regional stability and rule of law at 4th 2+2 ministerial dialogue. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates hostel and education complex of Sri Annapurna Dham Trust at Adalaj in Gujarat. Union Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia directs officials to boost ongoing monitoring and surveillance of new COVID-19 variants and cases. In Uttar Pradesh, BJP is heading for a massive win in the state legislative council elections. Pulwama and Pathankot attack masterminds notified as terrorists under the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Delhi and most parts of northern India reeling under heat wave conditions. In FIH Women's Junior World Cup Hockey, India to meet England today for the third and fourth position in Potchefstroom, South Africa at 5 p.m. And in IPL cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore to take on defending champions Chennai Super Kings at Dr. D.Y. Patil Sports Academy in Navi Mumbai this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alert.
भारत के स्वतंत्रता संग्राम में अनगिनत स्वतंत्रता सेनानियों ने अपने प्राणों की आहुति दी। कुछ इतिहास में अमर हो गए और कई गुमनाम। आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के अंतर्गत 75 कड़ियों की श्रृंखला में हम उन वीरांगनाओं की बात करेंगे जिनका योगदान कभी भुलाया नहीं जा सकता। प्रत्येक मंगलवार परिक्रमा में सुनिए अपराजिता, देश की वीरांगनाओं को आकाशवाणी का सादर नमन।
Welcome back to the Midday News. In Jharkhand, the joint teams of security forces deployed in the rescue mission of trapped passengers in Trikut mountain ropeway trolleys in Deoghar district have today rescued the remaining 12 people since morning. All the passengers have been safeguarded from trolleys after 45-hour-long rescue operations. The security personnel of Army, Air Force, ITBP along with NDRF team, locals and district administration have jointly evacuated 48 people from the Trikut mountain ropeway accident in Deoghar district of Jharkhand. 12 people were severely injured in the accident and are being treated at Deoghar Sadar Hospital. The accident occurred due to breaking of ropeway wire at Trikut mountain. More from our correspondent.
Rescue mission by Indian Air Force, Army, ITBP personnel and NDRF teams have been completed after the forces evacuated everyone from the accident area. However, 2 people have died in the incident. Meanwhile, the Jharkhand High Court has taken suo motu cognizance in the ropeway accident. A division bench of Chief Justice Dr. Ravi Ranjan and Justice Sujit Narayan Prasad has ordered an inquiry into the matter. The court has fixed April 26 as the next date of hearing in the ropeway accident. Shilpi, AIR News, Ranchi.
In Uttar Pradesh, the ruling BJP is heading for a massive win in biennial elections for 27 seats of the state legislative council. Counting is underway at many places. The results and trends available so far indicate that the BJP has either won or is leading on most of these seats. It has already unanimously won 9 of the total 36 seats as its candidates were elected unopposed. BJP has won 17 seats so far while it lost Varanasi where independent candidates got elected. BJP lost Azamgarh and Pratapgarh as well. A total of 95 candidates are in the fray for these seats, for which voting took place on the 9th of April.
Delhi has recorded more days with heat wave conditions in April this year compared with the same month over the past 4 years. According to India Meteorological Department, maximum temperature in Delhi is expected to be at 42 degrees Celsius today. The city had recorded a maximum temperature of 43.6 degrees Celsius, 7 notches above normal yesterday. Most parts of the northern India is also reeling under the heat wave conditions. Over the past few days, maximum temperature were above normal by 6 to 10 degrees Celsius at most parts of Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh and Delhi. Talking to AIR News, IMD DG Mrityunjay Mohapatra said,
हमारा जो अभी पूर्वानुमान है कि अगले 2-3 दिन के लिए जो टेम्परेचर हाई चल रहा है इसमें थोड़ा रिडक्शन होगा और ये सभी एरिया में हीट वेव तो रहेगा मगर एरिया ऑफ हीट वेव और इंटेंसिटी ऑफ हीट वेव काफी तक रिड्यूस होगा 12 to 14 अप्रैल तक। इसके बाद फिर टेम्परेचर राइज होने वाला है, इसलिए नेक्स्ट 5 डेज के लिए हमारा जो वार्निंग है कि हीट वेव कंडीशन रहेगा उत्तर प्रदेश, राजस्थान, मध्य प्रदेश में और आइसोलेटेड हीट वेव कंडीशन रहेगा पंजाब, हरियाणा इलाका में फॉर नेक्स्ट 5 days.
And now let's listen to our special program Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember martyrs Bholo and Molo, who participated in the Bhil Girasiya tribal uprising of 1922 in erstwhile Sirohi state. They were martyred while fighting against the British troops on 12th of April 1922.
Bholu and Molo participated in the Ekki movement that was launched to counter the harassment of tribals by the state officials. The movement sought to redress the grievances of tribals regarding the high rate of revenues and forced labor in the Sirohi state. The Bhils of Rohera and the Girasiyas of Chandela, Girvar and the neighbouring villages of Siava defied the orders by carrying away crops from their fields without paying the state's dues.
Hearing the news of the tribal gathering, the state army and 200 soldiers of the British Army, led by Major Richards, reached the spot and opened fire on the agitators on 12th of April 1922 without any prior warning of dispersal. In the indiscriminate firing, Bholo and Molo and several other Girasiya agitators were killed. Simultaneously with this firing, the village was looted and set on fire by the troops. We salute the great martyrs.
We also remember Martyr Sarja, who took part in the First War of Indian Independence in 1857. He was caught while confronting their attacks and charged with mutiny and rebellion against the British authorities. He was sentenced to the imprisonment for life in 1857 and died in the Andaman Islands on the 12th of April 1859. We salute the great son of the soil.
We also remember the nationalist historian Rakhal Das Bandyopadhyay, who was born on 12th of April 1885 in Murshidabad district, West Bengal. He is best known as the discoverer of the antiquity of Mohenjo-daro, the principal site of the Indus Valley civilization, through excavation.
Rakhal Das worked at the Indian Museum, Calcutta, the Archaeological Survey of India and the Banaras Hindu University. Rakhal Das was a nationalist historian with a broad view of Indian civilization. Contributions of Rakhal Das in the fields of paleography and epigraphy are indeed great. His work, The Origin of the Bengali Script, was a pioneer attempt at tracing the development of Bangla script on the basis of inscriptions and manuscripts.
He also worked in the field of numismatics, giving a scientific account and critical analysis of the coins of ancient and early medieval India.
Bandyopadhyay is popular for unearthing pre-Buddhist artifacts at the ruins of Mohenjo-daro and for noting similarities between the site at Mohenjo-daro and Harappa.
His interpretations and analysis about the civilization were published in a number of articles and books such as An Indian City 5,000 Years Ago, Mohenjo-daro in Bangla, and Mohenjo-daro, A Forgotten Report. He also wrote many historical fictions.
Rakhal Das also worked on the ancient and early medieval sculptures and structural remains of Assam and discovered carvings of door jambs of a ruined temple at Dah Parvatiya near Tejpur.
Till his untimely death at the age of 45 years on 23rd of May 1930, Rakhal Das continued to work for unearthing the historical wonders of India. We salute the great nationalist.
We also remember martyr Dharma Chhota Pahadia, a resident of Santhal Parganas, Jharkhand. He took on active part in the Quit India movement in 1942 and was arrested during the course of the movement. He died in Dumka jail on the 12th of April 1943. We salute the great son of the soil.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Home Minister Amit Shah has said the new generation should become aware of the freedom struggle and heroes of the freedom movement should be revered. Addressing a two-day conference, Amrit Samagam in New Delhi today, Mr. Shah said Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is aimed at inculcating a sense of patriotism in the new generation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today reiterated that a Pakka house is the foundation for a better tomorrow. In a letter to a beneficiary of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Mr. Modi said memorable moments in the lives of beneficiaries give inspiration and energy to continue working tirelessly and non-stop in the service of the nation. He wrote, "A house is not just a structure made of bricks and cement, but feelings and aspirations are attached to it." He said the boundary walls of the house not only provide security, but also instill confidence for a better tomorrow. The Prime Minister, in his letter to Sudhir Kumar Jain of Sagar district in Madhya Pradesh, congratulated him on getting a Pakka house under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Mr. Modi said the happiness of getting one's own roof and house is priceless.
All India Radio News has launched a new weekly interactive program, Abhyas, for competitive examinations, reaching out to students and job seekers. The third episode of the program will be broadcast on Saturday, April the 16th, between 9:30 to 10 p.m. on 100.1 FM Gold channel.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी, तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर, या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर, और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। अगले अंक का विषय है ज्योग्राफी यानी कि भूगोल, और हमारे एक्सपर्ट हैं प्रोफेसर अमृता बजाज। सवाल भेजने की अंतिम तारीख है 13 अप्रैल। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
On to sports. In FIH Women's Junior World Cup Hockey, India will meet England for the third and fourth positions today in Potchefstroom, South Africa. The match will start at 5 p.m. The final will also be played later in the day at the same venue between Germany and the Netherlands at 7:15 p.m. In IPL cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore will take on defending champions Chennai Super Kings at D.Y. Patil Sports Academy in Navi Mumbai at 7:30 p.m.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says the India-US friendship would be an integral part of India's development journey for the next 25 years. India and US reaffirm their commitment to promote regional stability and rule of law at 4th 2+2 ministerial dialogue. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates hostel and education complex of Sri Annapurna Dham Trust at Adalaj in Gujarat. Union Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia directs officials to boost ongoing monitoring and surveillance of new COVID-19 variants and cases. In Uttar Pradesh, BJP is heading for a massive win in the state legislative council elections. Pulwama and Pathankot attack masterminds notified as terrorists under Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. Delhi and most parts of northern India reeling under heatwave conditions. In FIH Women's Junior World Cup Hockey, India to meet England today for the third and fourth position in Potchefstroom, South Africa at 5 p.m. and in IPL Cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore to take on defending champions Chennai Super Kings at Dr. D.Y. Patil Sports Academy in Navi Mumbai this evening. And with that, we end the midday news.